sustainability communities that are consumption-led just as easily fall into that trap. And I think that's very important to be aware of. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gitte Marie, and in today's video I thought why not go over some of the sustainable, responsible, earth-friendly eco swaps that I have acquired over the years that I now do not recommend or that I regret buying. I have done these videos before because I think it's an important conversation to have. I talk about greenwashing and impact and consumer action and broader industry and political action, and one of the things that I keep coming back to is that most consumers want to live sustainable lives. Most consumers want to do the best that they can to live sustainably. But what that looks like differs based on what resources you have available, the kind of lives and routines you have, your financial resources, and your baseline of understanding of what's happening in the current climate. But one of the things that often happens today when we try to solve the climate crisis, try to live more sustainably, try to be good eco-conscious citizens, is that we try to get to a point or achieve a specific result in regard to sustainability with the tools that we have available, those same tools that got us into the situation we're in today. So consumption is one of those resources, one of those tools. And I think it's important to mention that there is no way that we can consume our way to sustainability. The less you buy, the better. Obviously, you have to still live and thrive, and there are many different small tools that can help you do that, that are less wasteful, less impactful, where you place your money with companies that actually want to do better than the status quo. All this stuff is true. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is that when you get into sustainability, you want to do the best that you can. You are often bombarded with different products that you have to buy in order to achieve said sustainability. And I think a really good foundation, a really good starting point is realizing that you don't need any products to live sustainably. You don't need any specific products, tools, swaps, kits. You need none of the sort. With that said, there are certain products and tools that I find incredibly helpful, but there are also some that I find incredibly pointless or just simply not helpful to me. Anyway, these are 5 things. This was an incredibly long intro, but I think this is important to establish. So this is my list of eco-friendly, sustainable, responsible swaps that I regret buying. And the first point on this list is wax wraps. Don't make me say that a bunch of times. Wax wraps are typically these types of food packaging, food wraps that you can wrap your sandwiches and leftovers in. It is a piece of cloth fabric that is coated with a beeswax or a soy wax, and you can find these products many different places. Now, I have previously talked really well about these products. I've used them for a really long time, and for a long time I really like them. But I haven't talked about them for the past 2-ish, if not more, years, because I stopped using them. The thing is, if you have these products, you cannot treat them as a reusable product over and over again. It's not a reusable product. It has a lifespan, and at some point the wax on the fabric is going to deteriorate and break down, and it's going to be really sticky and just really uncomfortable to touch. The thing is, you have to reapply wax, so you have to maintain these products, and a lot of people, including myself, did not quite know what that meant. So I just kept using these products over and over again until the wax started breaking down, and it left this weird residue in my food, and it smelled really bad, and you know, it was just sticky. It wasn't great. Could this also be a list of eco products that Gitte Marie didn't understand how to use and as such failed at using? That is also quite possible. I'm not gonna argue with that. But I think it's important to know that if you're using these products, there's a lifespan and you can use it X number of times before you have to maintain or reapply the wax. I am currently decluttering my kitchen, and I found the remaining parts of these wax wraps, and I ended up discarding them. I threw them in my compost. So I'm not using them anymore, and I don't think I'm going to repurchase them either. I have other food storage options that I just think work better. That being a solid lunchbox. I can use that for my sandwiches as well. And I also have stasher bags. And fun fact, in one of these videos, I said that I regretted buying the stasher bags. That was when I lived in the previous apartment where I didn't have a dishwasher and they were just such a pain to wash. But now I've had a dishwasher for a really long time. 2-ish years, if not more. Ever since I got a dishwasher, they have been so easier to work with, so I now gravitate towards the sachet bags because the cleanup process is now simpler. I have never claimed that I got everything right the first time because God knows that's not true. And this is just an example of how your behaviors and routines change and how there are different products that work well for different types of routines. So I think that's an example of that here. I don't regret buying the wax wraps per se, but I just don't think that I used them the way they were intended. And I don't think I will gravitate toward them again because there are other, to me, more practical solutions and products. We live for the nuance here. Okay, another product that I loved for a really long time that I now have phased out are tooth taps. I have made actually a whole video about tooth taps, so if you're interested in the impact of them and whether or not they are actually more sustainable, you can watch that video. I am not saying in that video, and I'm not going to say here, that tooth taps are always more sustainable or more unsustainable than other types of tooth cleaning products. But just for a short recap, in that video I look at a specific study that compares a specific type of tooth tap product to specific types of toothpaste, and they conclude that there is a massive difference, especially in water use and water consumption, in the production of toothpaste taps rather than toothpaste. However, that's not applicable to all toothpaste products and tooth taps. It's just applicable to those specific products in that study. But I also criticize the study's final conclusion. Overall, it doesn't really seem like there is a massive difference in how many resources are used to produce these products overall. So anyway, go watch the video if you want more nuance. And after that video, I kind of moved a little bit away from the tooth taps. I still use them whenever I have to travel. Lightweight, takes up less space, we love to see it. But in my everyday life, I also use a toothpaste. And I didn't do that in the beginning of my zero waste journey because there wasn't really any kind of toothpaste packaging that was recyclable and any sort of way tried to be just a wee bit sustainable. But today you can find packagings that are both made from 100% recycled materials and that are also recyclable again. Recycling is not the only thing that has to happen for something to be sustainable, but I think it's a good step. And overall, I think I just grew tired of the sensory feeling of the tooth taps. Hence why I moved away from them. So yeah, not buying those anymore. Not really a regret either. Maybe I should change this video title. Nah, now a video like this is really no fun without a classic. So I think that out of all the zero waste products that I have talked shit about, this I have talked the most shit about. So let's keep going. Okay, to go, picnic, eating out, takeout containers and kits that seeks for you to be zero waste is bullshit. Like, you can easily make your own kit. You can take forks and knives and spoons, etc. from your kitchen cabinet, and you can take your solid lunchbox and you have a kit. What I'm specifically referring to is these like kits that you bought together. And I don't think they are that popular anymore. I think they have maybe gotten too much crap for being what they are. Or at least a lot of people within the zero waste community started talking about the fact that you don't really need them. There was a point where every sustainable eco web shop had a product that was sort of a piece of fabric that you could roll out, and then on that piece of fabric were little holders for a stainless steel straw, bamboo cutlery, a little napkin. It was sort of one of these first basic zero waste swaps that basically everyone interested in this lifestyle got, or at least a lot of people did and showed it online and talked about it. Because I thought, well, this is really handy, then I always have a little kit for whenever I am eating food outside or like going on picnics, etc. The thing is, you don't need to buy a product that does this because you have all of these things, probably. I already have a straw, I already have a napkin, I already have cutlery. Why would I need to buy this? And to this day, I think this is one of the best examples of how we try to interpret how to be sustainable based on the tools that we have already in our toolbox and the experiences we already have with being a consumer. Because we look at a certain problem, like disposables, and we think we need a product that combats these types of disposables. And then we go out and buy the product that seeks to combat those disposables, even though you already have the products at home already. But because of marketing, because of how they are advertised to us, we kind of forget that, because our brain really loves when someone tells us that this thing belongs in this specific box, or that this thing has this specific task to fulfill. It's really nice when that happens, and advertisers and marketing strategists know this. So instead of thinking about how we can solve this problem based on our current resources, we are sold a solution that we then buy. And with that, we're sort of participating in the very old tactic of creating a problem, creating a solution. Sustainability communities that are consumption-led just as easily fall into that trap. And I think that's very important to be aware of. Okay, this thing, I acquired this next thing because I thought this a brilliant hack. There is no alternative. It's a win-win situation. It makes for more sustainable laundry. And it's the wool dryer balls. 2 pairs of them when I began my zero waste journey, before I realized that the most sustainable option is to not use a tumble dryer. Actually, using a tumble dryer shortens the lifespan of your clothes and is massively energy intensive. The amount of resources we use tumble drying instead of air drying, astronomical. And I think we often forget that the use phase of how we use clothes is so important. So the longer we have clothes, the more we maintain it and take care of it, the more sustainable it is. Tumble drying is not the vibe. But these dryer balls, okay, I got off track. The dryer balls. I used the dryer balls when I started my sustainable laundry routine. So I used it together with either soap nuts or laundry detergent sheets, which I also have a video about because there might be something there about them containing plastic that cannot break down in the environment. Anyway, so dryer balls are typically advertised as wool balls that you put into your dryer, and then they reduce the amount of drying time, so they make your clothes dry faster, and they are also a replacement for fabric softeners. I think a really interesting article was made by the Danish think tank Think, and they found that there was not necessarily any real data to support these claims. I used them myself, and I honestly today don't recall whether or not they made any kind of markable difference. I think they might have when I first started using them. Maybe not. I honestly don't recall because it wasn't a big enough change for it to have any kind of impact on my memory. I stopped using them pretty quickly. Also, I started eating a plant-based diet and looking into veganism, and buying new wool to use like this just really didn't seem like a good priority for that material. Today, I don't buy new wool or leather or silk or anything of the sort. I do get some vintage, secondhand, etc. But that kind of product I wouldn't buy today, and especially not when knowing that there might actually not even be data to support that this actually happens. So this one I actually do regret buying. Okay, the video makes sense again, perfect. And the last thing I definitely also regret. It's sort of a wider category. Low, poor quality eco care products. Like bamboo toothbrushes that chip small bamboo chips off when you use it on the inside of your cheek and your gums. I have tried many different types of bamboo toothbrushes. I have actually also moved away from using a bamboo toothbrush. So there's that. We need a new get ready with me sustainable care product video because yowza. Now I might just have had the worst toothbrush karma in the world. But the last 3 toothbrushes that I used have been sort of rough or coarse on the opposite side of the bristles. So whenever I use it like this, I would have basically raw cheeks and gums. I have found small chips that I could pull out of my gums coming off the toothbrush. And I think this basically just comes back to the fact that those were incredibly poor quality. Another thing that I think is really important is that when you choose a safety razor, now I definitely recommend a safety razor. I have used a safety razor since 2016. So for 8 years, basically a pro at this point. I have a leaf-shaped safety razor. I have worked with them many times. I actually genuinely really like their safety razors. However, you can buy tons of different kinds. When zero waste, low impact, plastic-free living started gaining momentum, you could see a lot of web shops and eco stores selling safety razors. And some of them are bullshit qualities. I have owned one awful quality safety razor that I dropped once on my floor and it shattered. And I've heard from both friends as well as from subscribers and followers that also wanted to try the safety razor, that the safety razor they used started to rust or completely came apart. So I think when we buy products like this that are meant to last a lifetime, I think it's important to invest the kind of money that needs to go into a product being able to last a lifetime. I'm not saying that any poor quality product cannot not last a lifetime because you can be so lucky. But I feel like investing in a specialized company that does this and only this and does it really well is just a way better option. For toothbrushes, I literally couldn't tell you what I'm using right now. I'm back to shopping around and seeing what sort of sticks and what works for me, but I have a safety razor that I know for a fact I'll be able to have for the rest of my life. It's amazing, it's cool. I've dropped it several times. It's fine. But I've had my fair share of poor quality eco swaps that just did not live up to my expectations. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what you regret buying zero waste eco swaps wise. I would love to hear if you have any regrets or rants. Let it all out in this comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. And I will see you guys next time. Take really good care of yourselves. Until then, bye.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green zero waste content and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!